Project Arrowhead. Happy June 26th. It's Jim and Gina. What's up, Gina?
Everything hurts and I'm dying.
Everything hurts and you're dying.
Yes. Everything.
But see, that's commitment, because Gina's last breath would be here with us at Project Arrowhead.
This is true.
So what's up? What are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about serial killers. Woohoo!
Somebody killed Tony the Tiger, and it's not good.
Ugh. You've never heard that one before, Keith?
No.
How old are you?
No, I haven't.
Oh. So first and foremost, I went and saw Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom this weekend with my parents. And I'm not going to give anything away, but I thought it was fantastic. However, a lot of my friends that saw it did not think it was up to par. And I'm actually kind of disappointed in that.
I've heard a lot of people say a lot of good things about it. I have actually not heard anything bad.
A lot of people said it's And I don't think so. I see, the way I look at it is when I watch a movie, I look for like little hidden references. And a lot of the things that were in this movie reference back to the first and second ever original Jurassic Parks. So they had a lot of clues and a lot of incorporation for it. So that's why I thought it was really good, is because they didn't just start up their own franchise with Jurassic World and leave that other part behind. They actually included it, and I thought it was fantastic. So to anybody who's listening who thinks it was not that good, then you can go kick rocks, because you're wrong.
All right. Did you share this on everybody's pages?
I shared it on mine.
All right.
We have 3 viewers, and one of them is Sam. Hi, Sam. Keith is looking for your attention.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm such a baby when it comes to being sick. All I have is a sinus
I
infection.
was going to say, all you have is a sinus infection.
Literally, it just started yesterday. I woke up,
Jesus.
and now I'm dying. Hi, Sarah. Oh, while Sarah's listening.
Oh, hey, Sarah.
She sent me flowers yesterday.
She did. I saw them.
Yeah, and she told me I was to bring one in for you out of the vase, and I forgot it.
Aw. Well, I said something about not sending me flowers, so she sent me a little emoji of flowers.
Of SpongeBob. You were getting flowers thrown at you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, Jim is watching. Hey, Jim. Wow.
Hey, and don't forget, Project Arrowhead is brought to you by the Mohegan Sun's Big Three: Mohegan After Dark, Lansdowne, Avalon, and Vista Lounge. This week at Lansdowne, Thursday night, karaoke starting at 9. On Friday from 6 to 9, the acoustical act of Rob Brannon. Saturday, starting at 10, will be the Pogs. And then on Sunday from 1 to 4 will be traditional Irish music with Steve Cleary. And if you're looking for some VIP services over at Avalon or Vista, look for Chris Cody, and he will hook you up. That's Avalon, Vista, and the Lansdowne Pub.
Speaking of Chris, this weekend, everybody, if you guys tuned into our show last week, we were comparing Chris and Billy's eyes, they're brothers, and I was asked to come in and personally tell Billy that his eyes were a 10 out of 10. So I did that. And then when I was coming back, I went to find Jim, and he was talking to somebody, and I may or may not have shouted that 10 out of 10 would do dirty things to that man, speaking about Billy. And the person Jim was talking to turned around and looked at me, and it was Billy's brother, Chris. So now the whole family knows I want to do dirty things to Billy, so...
Yeah, awkward!
That was a little awkward. I swear, if Amber had gotten my face on camera, it probably would have been all over the internet, because it was that priceless. And I was like, oh, hi, sorry. And I told Jim he could tell him that, and Chris goes, no, I think I'll tell him that. So
he did say that. Yes, he did.
Great. Fantastic.
Jim, you have a mouse.
Jim, you have a mouse.
So we better get it out of here.
I know. God, what?
The little red thing.
It's red? Oh, my goodness.
He's been having to use the touchpad, so this time I gave him a mouse so he doesn't have to use the touchpad.
No, he was actually just trying to cover up. There's a real mouse in here. We named him Leroy. All right, so let's talk serial killers. I mean, everything hurts and I'm dying, so what better thing to talk about, right?
We've got 2 of them in the room.
Nobody gave it to you.
We've got 2 of them in the room. What are you trying to say? I think that means you two. Oh my God, what's that? Breaking news. Gina has a sinus infection. All right, so I guess what we should first discuss is...
What is a serial killer?
Correct. Because do we really know what a serial killer is?
Oh,
What?
I do.
Go ahead, you go. Your turn. Yes, Jim.
It's a person who kills 3 or more people.
Good job. Where did you learn that?
I think you said it earlier.
I think I read it, yes.
Yeah, I knew that too. But...
See, I didn't know that was what classified as... Oh, it also says different authorities apply different criteria when designating serial killers. While most set a threshold of 3 murders, others extend it to 4 or lessen it to 2. So I guess it just really matters how severe the crime is.
What does the FBI consider a serial killer?
Defines a serial killer as a series of 2 or more murders committed as separate events, usually but not always, by one offender acting alone.
So, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, they are legit serial killers.
They are classified serial killers. That is a serial killer slasher movie. A serial killer is neither a mass murderer nor a spree killer. Those are 2 different things, says Wikipedia. So, most people who are sociopaths aren't generally killers. There's a list here in my book. That's right, people, I brought books. I'm a smart cookie. So, a psychopath has no sense of right and wrong, while a sociopath feels unconstrained by morality. So, psychopathic criminals are especially formidable predators because of their ability to manipulate people and circumstances cold-heartedly and to their own advantage. Their sociopathic counterparts, meanwhile, tend to lash out with raw, sudden ferocity. Brittany Michelle says, "Hey, guys."
Hey, Brittany. Love you. Hope you're doing good.
I don't know who it is, but hey, Brittany.
Brittany is one of our investigators.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, let's be best friends.
Yeah, Brittany's awesome.
Hi,
She is
Colette.
awesome.
Hi, Ashley. Hi, Naomi. Hi, Cassie. Hi, Jen. Hi, Jim. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sam.
Yo.
Okay, so there is something, it's a 20-point tool rate, and a lot of people use this to identify psychopaths. It's rated on a 0 to 2 for each 20 characteristics. So if you range 30 or more points, then chances are you're a psychopath. So those 20 characteristics are glib and superficial charm, grandiosity, need for stimulation, pathological lying, cunning and manipulativeness, lack of remorse, callousness, poor behavioral controls, impulsiveness, irresponsibility, denial, parasitic lifestyle, sexual promiscuity, early behavior problems, lack of realistic long-term goals, failure to accept responsibility for own actions, many short-term marital relationships, juvenile delinquency, revocation of conditional release, and criminal versatility. So a lot of serial killers are judged by those 20 characteristics on a 0 to 2 point scale for each characteristic. And that's how they basically categorize them. Hi, Mom! Jim, say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
That's how they categorize what a serial killer is. She's our most important watcher. So when they sit down with a serial killer, they go through those and basically beat around the bush and ask questions to get the truth out of them for those characteristics. And that's how they label them a serial killer rather than a mass murderer or a spree killer, somebody who's put up to something. So for example, most suicide bombers aren't classified as serial killers.
They are or they aren't?
They aren't. Because they're not individual crimes in a series. It's a mass murder. It's no different than when somebody goes in and shoots up something. So the kid that just got, I don't remember his name, but he was in Florida and he shot up. Sarah said, "Can we take this test online? Some of those characteristics are scaring me."
I know that describes a lot of people I know too.
know.
So I guess I got a lot of serial killer friends.
Oh God. So like the kid who went and shot up that school, he's not considered a serial killer. Because it
was all one event.
Right. It wasn't meticulously planned out. He didn't have certain people that were done individually. Everything was done at once on a spree killer. He went on a killing spree, basically. So let's start with, who is your favorite serial killer? And don't say, I don't have a favorite, but...
I don't want to call it a favorite.
I have a favorite. Favorite. F-A-V-O-R-I-T, all capital letters. Favorite.
My friend Kane Hodder played Ed Gein.
Yes.
So I guess if I don't know.
Okay, so he's your friend, and that's why.
Yeah, just because he played him. But I don't know. Can you have a favorite serial killer?
Yeah, I have one. First of all, Ed Gein, he inspired 3 movies. What movies were they?
Obviously the Ed Gein story. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's one of them. The other one was wrong. That's a that's a documentary,
Sort of.
biography, etc.
I was kidding about that one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
I don't know what the other 2 are.
Psycho. And The Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. Yes.
Yeah. We've been talking about that for a couple weeks because of the Mandela effect. Yeah. So yeah, he inspired 3 movies. What is he famous for?
Wearing the skin of his victims.
Yes.
Plus, he used bones and all kinds of...
Don't forget about the nipple belt.
The nipple belt.
Nipple
How can you
belt.
forget about the nipple belt?
You can't.
Plus, his house was decorated with bones and body parts and...
Yep. Human skulls.
Yeah. It was,
Skin
it was
lamps.
pretty gross.
They were very horrified when they went in and found and did a count of all of the items in his home. Homemade items, I guess you could say. He's actually a really good one. He's very popular, too. He's one of the more popular ones that people, obviously, because he inspired a lot of movies that we all see and know. Mm-hmm. Same with Ted Bundy. And Sam said, wasn't one of the American Horror Story plots based off of Ed Gein? I'm not sure, because I only saw the first one, which was Murder House, and that one nobody was wearing.
I don't think any of them were based off of the Ed Gein. Hey, Keith, come here for a second. Anyway, no, I don't think any of them were based off of that.
No, they might have had little tidbits. My mom said Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy, I was terrified of.
H.H. Holmes.
Because he dresses up as a clown. He dressed up as a clown. I'm terrified of clowns.
Right.
So I can remember my mom had serial killer books when I was little, and you would open it up, and on the side of the page, the whole page was John Wayne Gacy dressed up as a clown. No, thank you. No, thank you. They found all of his victims buried under his house. Isn't that disgusting?
H.H. Holmes, I believe he was the first serial killer, wasn't he?
I don't. Maybe in America.
I don't even think it was America. I think it was England.
Well, speaking of foreign countries, my friend Michael had suggested Louis Garavito. While I'm looking up H.H. Holmes. He is the top known... Side note, Ryan said, Gina Dear, since when do you listen to rock and metal? I don't listen to rock and metal ever. That just goes to show how much my friends know me.
That's not true.
It is.
That's not true.
What do you mean?
You told me you listen to Def Leppard.
Oh yeah, that's old though.
Poison. It's still rock.
Yeah, but that's not the new stuff. The new stuff is disgusting. Makes me want to throw up.
It's just not rock and metal here. We have 2 stations. We got a top 40 station and
yeah,
we have
Ryan,
the
that's
rock
me.
and metal.
Top 40. Know it. Love it. Embrace it. So Louis Garavito has the top known serial killer count in the world. It's at 138.
Really?
Yep, that has been admitted to and accounted for. So that doesn't count the serial killers that were never caught or the serial killers that the bodies were never found or linked to. These are the top kills that he admitted to and were found. So they found 100. He went around killing little children. And I bookmarked it.
So he's actually got more than the Green River Killer?
Yes, I Googled it. So he mutilated corpses of kids between 8 and 16, and his other names were the Madman, the Priest, or simply La Bestia, which meant the Beast. He would lure the children, tie them, torture, rape, kill, and then whenever possible, he'd decapitate them. And when he was caught, that he admitted to 138 murders, and they were all found and accounted for. My mom said, "Oh my God, Gina," but I don't really know what she's talking about. So, back to H.H. Holmes. So it looks like Wikipedia says he was an American serial killer, so he was here in New Hampshire. He was born in. He confessed to 27 murders, only 9 could be plausibly confirmed. But it doesn't say if he was the first known serial killer. That's what I Googled. So, first known... Oh, saying Def Leppard was old. It is, Mom. It is.
Def Leppard's not old.
It's
I just
old.
saw Def Leppard a month ago.
All right, so okay. You're right. H.H. Holmes was the first known serial killer.
Boom!
Because I just Googled the actual words, first known serial killer, and H.H. Holmes came up.
See that?
If you look on who's the first known serial killer in the world, it's still H.H. Holmes, even though he's America's first serial killer. Okay, so my favorite serial killer is the one that got me. Mom, classic and old mean the same thing. I think that's what I'm going to sign on your birthday cards as you hit your 60s, which you're not yet, so I don't want anybody to think my mother's that old. But when you do, I'm going to say, have a classic birthday. She's going to kill me.
Wow.
She'll call me after this and be like, Gina Lee! And then I'll hang up. I love you, Mom. So, the first person... Hi, Melissa! Keith, Melissa's listening. I love her. We talk all the time, by the way. We're best friends.
Oh, very cool.
So, mine is... What actually got me into this whole serial killer thing, because I'm super, intrigued by it, is the serial killer... I love you too, brat. That's what my mother said. Is Michael Ross.
Really?
Yep. Would you like to know why?
Yeah.
So, I brought the book that specifically has him in it. Because this is the only book that I have that has him. I bought all these books and only one of them has him actually in it. So, page 66. Okay, so Michael Ross, he was born in Putnam, Connecticut, which is obviously very local to us.
Right.
He grew up in a chicken farm and landed the gruesome job of strangling the fowl. So
Yes, he did.
yeah, you know that? Yeah, that's what he did. So he exhibited signs of antisocial behavior from an early age. He was an intelligent child with an IQ of 122, and he got good marks at school. So his second year at Cornell, he started stalking a number of women and found himself in the grip of overwhelming sexual urges. And by his final year, he had committed his first rape and murder by strangulation. So, horrified, Sam, this is why I like Michael Ross, you just wait. Horrified by what he had done, he decided to kill himself when wasn't able to enact his plan. He made a vow that he would never hurt anyone again. However, Ross was unable to keep his promise when his inner quote-unquote voices became too strong. By 1984, Ross had raped and murdered a further 7 women between the ages of 14 and 25. So, as the body count mounted, the police assigned Michael Malchik to the head of the investigation. The final murder victim, Wendy Baribeau, had been abducted by the driver of a blue Toyota car. Police investigated all the local owners of Toyota cars until they reached Ross. While being questioned, he dropped Malchik hints that he was the perpetrator. As questioning continued, the two men developed a rapport, and eventually in June 1984, Ross confessed to abducting, raping, and murdering 8 women. He is the last person to be executed in the state of Connecticut, and that was on May 13th, 2005. And it was in Somers, Connecticut. Wendy Bareboat is my cousin.
Really?
Yep. So when my mom told me this,
Wow.
she was, I believe, 17. Mom will correct me if I'm wrong, but she was walking, I think, to a store or something, my mom said.
In Griswold, right?
In Griswold, yep, right around that bend. And that's where he got her. And the neighbors had heard her yelling for help, but they just thought that they were the kids just fooling around in the woods, so they didn't do anything. And her body, I think, my mom said, was buried under a rock wall or hidden really well, so it was really hard to find.
That was in Norwich?
I think it was in, Wendy was 17. I think it was still in Jewett City. I think it was in those woods that he had gotten her.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's what, like, super intrigued me. She was walking on Route 12 in Lisbon, Mom said. So that's what intrigued me about serial killers so much, is because my mom said yes, which I would assume is to the rock wall. And that's what intrigued me so much, is because that was super personal. And
Well, yeah.
when I went to NFA, obviously I wasn't a thought by then at that time, because I was born in 92. But when I went to high school at NFA, they have in the art class, in the art division, the Wendy Bareboat Award, because she was really good at art. And like, if you go to her mom's house, there is her art stuff hanging on the walls and you know, things that obviously proved she was really good at art. But how crazy is that?
Wow.
That just made me want to dig deeper, and that's why I have this book that you were interested in, Mysteries of the Criminal Mind, because it has a lot of explanation as to why they did it, deep looks in their mind, their characteristics from a doctor's standpoint, and that it just took off from there. So I was always interested in it, and I just kicked the cat. Sorry, Melissa.
Hey, Rochelle. Well, yeah, I have to say that I don't really want to say it's my favorite, but the most intriguing is Zodiac.
Yeah.
That is just...
Hi, pretty girl.
I mean, obviously, this guy was a genius.
Yeah.
And one of three people, each one of the three people are now deceased. One of those three was the Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
So...
It's mind-boggling, how they could get away with it for so long. That's like, there was just it's not super recent, but it's pretty recent. I'm pretty sure it was in Florida. There was a guy who killed people, and when he moved, he became a cop and used his cop rights to hunt people down and kill them. And he just got caught not too long ago. Isn't that crazy? Because he had the authority to look up people's profiles, to look up where they live, to look up everything about them.
Sounds like he was using NCIC.
Don't know what that means.
National Criminal Database.
Oh, yeah, probably.
You can look up anybody on that. That's what the police look up. Your driver's record and background, all that fun stuff when they pull you over.
That's crazy.
Supposedly, the Zodiac killer killed 37 people. The San Francisco newspaper only confirmed 7. But now that it's continued and they've investigated more, it does appear that it was over 30 people he killed.
The same guy, right? Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's the Golden State Killer. Ex-cop arrested in serial murder rape cold case. He was 72 when he got caught.
Wow.
So the decades-long hunt for a masked gunman who was dubbed the Golden State Killer while he terrorized California during the 1970s and 80s is now over. Let's see what else it says. Police believe that he killed 12 people, committed 45 rapes, and burglarized 120 homes during a 12-year reign of terror. That is nuts. Jones said they used discarded DNA to confirm that D'Angelo was their man. He was charged with 2 counts of murder in the March 1980 killings of Lyman and Charlene Smith. The charges include special circumstances of multiple murders, murdering during the commission of a rape, and murdering during the commission of a burglary.
Wow. But you know what? I mean, That son of a gun lived almost a full life before they caught him.
Exactly. That's what blows my mind. Is like some of these people never get caught. You don't know who they are. Sam said, "Why was he called the Zodiac?"
He was called the Zodiac because he used encrypted letters.
Almost like hieroglyphics, like little. Weren't they little shapes?
They were ciphers, and even some of the best military minds would try to decipher the cipher, and couldn't. The guy was an absolute genius. So they've had some of the best. They've gone to Berkeley, you name it. They've gone to some of the top colleges. They've gone all over the place trying to crack Zodiac's code, and they have not been able to crack the code. He changed it up each time, and they were never able to catch him.
Naomi said, if all this talk is going to mess with my good night's sleep, I'm calling you, Gina. By all means. And Rochelle said, look up the April Pennington case. So I did. So I guess April Dawn Pennington disappeared in 1996 and her body was never found.
Yep, she disappeared right down the street from me.
Today, the man found guilty on the kidnapping, rape, and murder of the 15-year-old will be sentenced on Monday. Obviously, this is an older article. This was posted in 2010.
Yep. All right. So what happened was, I'm not even going to mention his name. He had kidnapped and raped a 13-year-old girl, I believe.
The same person who did this one? Okay.
Yeah. Well, she got away, and he got charged. And I want to say he was out on bail or awaiting trial or something when him and another person picked up April, and at some point he dropped the other person off and disappeared with April. April was never seen again. It's believed that he raped her, dismembered her, and put her in a lobster pot somewhere out in the ocean. That's what the story is. I will tell you that we've assisted the police and we've gone through every in-ground well all over the area, and nothing was found.
That's crazy.
So he made a jailhouse confession, and he was convicted and sentenced based on the jailhouse confession. He was sentenced to life without parole. His appeal is now being heard. His lawyers are trying to say that the jailhouse confession was made up, that he didn't say it. Just a bunch of stuff. Even if his appeal is heard, it's still going to take years before it goes to trial or anything's done, and he will sit there and he will rot where he belongs.
Correct. I wish, in some circumstances, I really wish the death penalty was still enforceable. Mm-hmm. Because there are people like that deserve basically to just die, to be killed. I wouldn't wish death upon anybody, but in cases like that, where you take somebody's life for your own gratification,
right? That's
being selfish. Mm-hmm. And you deserve to die just like you killed that person. So personally, for me, I'm kind of glad that Michael Ross was the last to be killed, because obviously I feel strongly about him deserving it. My whole family does. Mm-hmm. But I can, as you know, obviously, like I said, I wasn't alive for that, so I can only imagine what their parents felt like and what her sisters felt like having to go through that.
Right.
So I can only imagine what the other families feel like for all these kids, that these killers don't get to be sentenced to the death penalty because it's not allowed anymore. Texas does it still, though. Mm-hmm. But
Michael Ross never got a nickname or a moniker, did he?
No, it was just Michael Ross. Yep. As far as I'm aware, Michael. Oops.
See, that always drove me nuts. That kind of. I don't know. They all had nicknames, and
oh no, yes he was.
Oh,
The
boy.
filmmakers who produced the segment in a British television series gave him the nickname the Roadside Strangler. Because the other killers in the series had a nickname, but it never stuck.
Yeah, well, that was well after everything.
Yeah, this was in 1995.
Yeah, so that doesn't... Well, was it?
1995. Yeah, he died. He passed. They put him to death in 2005.
Yeah. All right.
So he was in. He was in jail. The last killing was in 1984, I believe it said. So, and that's when he confessed to everything. But only because the series everybody had nicknames, so they just dubbed him the Roadside Strangler, which makes sense because that's where he got Wendy.
The Zodiac, the Hitchhiker Killer, the Human Dracula. They all get nicknames. What was Ted Bundy? The Crazy Necrophile.
Yeah. So a lot of those are the popular ones, though. Those are the popular ones that we know. Because a lot of Sarah said Florida still has the death penalty. That's actually really good. A lot of the ones that we don't know that are in my book don't have aliases.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy named Ivan Milat, he had the backpack killer. But a lot of these ones don't have... Like Henry Lee Lucas, America's Worst Serial Killer? Probably not.
Who?
Henry Lee Lucas.
Right.
He was the worst serial killer in American... Was he the worst serial killer in American history? Given the glaring inconsistencies in his various confessions, it's impossible to know. He admitted to being, among other things, a cannibal, Satanist, contract killer, and a born-again Christian. He claimed more than 500 murders. He might be responsible for over 100. He was convicted of just 11. So that's irrelevant to me because I don't even know who that is. So we talked about Louis Garavito, that he was the top tallied serial killer who had the most kills at 138. Another one that everybody wanted me to talk about was, let me flip the page, was Edmund Kemper. So Ed Kemper. I guess he went by the co-ed killer. Do we know who he is? Do you know who he is? I don't.
The co-ed killer?
Yeah.
No.
So, otherwise known as a co-ed killer because of the female college students he targeted, could hardly be described as a normal child. He was born in December 1949. His parents separated when he was 9. Blah, blah, don't care. At the age of 15, Kemper shot his grandmother 3 times with her own gun. Then dispatched his grandfather with a shot to the back of his head. He was diagnosed as paranoid and psychotic and committed to a state hospital. I'm just not going to try and pronounce that word because it's very long. Where he used his time expanding his fantasies. On release in 1969, he was ready to start his trail of sickening killings and mutilations. Disappointed at being turned down for the police force, he was too tall at 6 feet 8 inches. Oh my giant. Kemper frequented bars used by off-duty cops, gradually becoming a regular participant in their conversations about guns. He even customized his car to resemble an unmarked police vehicle. During this time, he often picked up young female hitchhikers, indulging in bizarre sexual fantasies involving murder and necrophilia. It was on May 1972 that he started to put his preparations into practice. Kemper embarked on a spree of murders, picking up hitchhikers, killing them, having sex with them, and then dissecting them. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare the cat. 2 hitchhiking students, Mary Ann Pesk and Anita Luchis, never reached their destination. His next young victim was 15-year-old Korean girl, Aiko Ku, I don't know if I pronounced that right. On her way to dance class, he suffocated her, raped her, and after a few beers in a local bar, cut off her hands and head. And then in 1973, he was living back home with his mother. He struck again. The first of his next 3 victims was shot before he had sex with the body.
Wow.
Her head was buried in the backyard and other body parts thrown off a cliff.
Your mom asks, how does one be a serial killer and a born-again Christian?
Exactly. Those are just the lies he told them.
Yeah.
Those were just the story. Those were whatever stories that he was telling. He was telling them he got better. He's a born-again Christian. Then he told them that he was a Satanist and that he believed in the devil. And then he was obviously admitted to his murders. It was just basically multiple personality disorder is what was wrong with him. So this guy sounds... Oh, ew. Just 1 month later, on Easter Sunday, Kemper battered his mother to death with a hammer while she slept. Ew. No, he decapitated her in some reports detailing that he performed certain things on her head before using it as a dartboard.
Okay.
Ew. And he stuffed her voice box in the waste disposal unit to put an end to her constant nagging. Oh. No, thank you. That is brutal. That poor mom.
One thing that I want to clear up is William DeFeo is not a serial killer.
Who's William DeFeo?
He is the one who killed his entire family in the Amityville house.
Oh, yes.
He is not a serial killer.
No.
He's a wacko.
That's considered a mass murder.
Yeah, he's not a serial killer.
No. That would be considered a mass... Oh, did you just turn up my mic?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I just deafened myself. How? Oh, he's considered a mass murderer.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't realize that, yes, that was a true story. He came home and shot and killed his entire family. He said that he heard the voices of the evil that was in the house, and that told him to do it. And thus you had the start of the Amityville Horror. But as Gina said, yeah, that was a mass murder. That wasn't a serial killer.
Correct.
Now, if he went next door and did the same thing,
Then,
now he's a serial killer.
Right. Then he's a serial killer. Then that would classify. If he just went into random people's houses and killed the whole family from one family to another, that would be considered a serial killer.
Here's a question for you. Who is the most famous serial killer to have actually never killed anybody?
Oh, didn't we just talk about him?
No? Anybody out there know the answer? The most famous serial killer who never actually killed anybody. Don't be Googling it.
I am.
I want to see if anybody knows the answer.
By the way, the studio number is 860-626-5193 for our radio listeners on UnitedFMRadio.com.
Did you find out who it is?
Get out.
Who?
I'm not telling you. I want to see if anybody else knows. Wow. Mom, do you know who it is? I feel like if anybody on this who's listening...
Come on, somebody's got to have the answer. Who is the most notorious serial killer but actually never killed anybody?
Think about it, Mom. Think. No clue on that one. Yes, you do. You know, and I'm going to say it, and you're going to be so upset about it. You know this, Mom. You know this. Dig down deep. She said, no. Yes, you will. You're about to be very upset.
Yes.
Yes, Rich.
Charles
Manson.
Charles Manson never killed anybody.
Mom, you probably just Googled it. Don't jump in now.
No, see, Sarah got it, and then your mom got it.
Well, Mom didn't get it. She probably Googled it.
Yeah, Charles Manson actually never killed anybody.
And he is in our books as serial killers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep, he is the most notorious serial killer that never actually killed anybody.
What?
See that? Learn something new.
I did.
He had his followers do it.
Yeah.
But he never
touched anybody.
Ever.
Well, maybe he touched somebody.
Yeah, he never killed anybody.
Yes, he's in my book 139. Let me go see what the book says, because maybe it'll say.
Your mom says you didn't Google it. I believe her.
They all came up at the same time, and I did not Google it. All right, fine. All right, Charles Manson. I thought it said 139. Yo, my book's lying to me, people. I feel victimized by this. Maybe he's not even really in here.
No, I was always fascinated by that. You know, they list him as a serial killer.
Oh, I just don't know how to read.
He's a notorious serial killer, but he never actually killed anybody.
All right, let's see what the book says. So it says, by age of 32, he was so institutionalized, having spent most of his life in prison, that he pleaded to stay in jail. Okay. He was born in 1934 to a prostitute. The name on his birth certificate was No Name Maddox. He never knew who his father was. Although many homosexual during his teens, although mainly, not many, Jesus, Manson married Rosalie Jean Willis. Okay. So the only reason he went to prison was for auto theft.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't kill anybody then. He remarried between jail sentences and had another son. That marriage failed. So then he found himself in San Francisco in the heyday of flower power and drug taking. He had a magnetism that seemed to attract dropouts and middle-class young women alike. He formed a sect and settled in California's Santa Susana Mountains, which was a one-time movie set at Span Ranch. He was convinced that an uprising between American blacks and whites was coming. He heard messages in the lyrics of Beatles tracks. He prophesied that only his disciples and the chosen blacks would survive. His followers believed must rise up and strike out. He called his devastating plan the Helter Skelter. Isn't that a movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously based on Charlie Manson, but yeah, it's a movie.
Sent 4 of his disciples to begin horrific slaughter.
That's when they killed the Tate and La Bianca.
Yep. And then let's see what else it says. This showed no mercy in their frenzied attack. The most shocking murder was that of a heavily pregnant Sharon Tate and her unborn son who was stabbed 16 times.
Mm-hmm.
But what?
Mind blown.
He never touched any of them.
No,
Not a single
he never
person.
actually killed anybody.
Yeah.
See that? And
But
I believe
why did he go back to jail then?
because he ordered them to do it.
Oh, okay. The police arrested the Manson family, and after a sensational trial that lasted 38 weeks, on March 29, 1971, they were all found guilty and sentenced to be executed, commuted to life imprisonment the following year when the California squashed the death penalty.
Mm-hmm. However, the 3 women were up for parole, and I don't think they were paroled.
No, he died.
He did die?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure he died.
I know he was on death's bed, but I can't remember if he actually died or not.
I think he died last year.
Mm-hmm.
Or...
maybe like 6 months ago or something.
He died November 19th, 2017, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So last year.
like 6 months ago.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And he had a swastika tattooed on his forehead.
Mm-hmm. So he was crazy. He was manipulative.
Yep.
And did you know he was a Beach Boy?
No, he was not.
I looked that up. He used to play the guitar, and he wrote a song for the Beach Boys.
Get out.
Nope. A lot of people don't know that either. How is it I know more about Charlie Manson than you who study serial killers?
Because he doesn't interest me because he's mainstream.
Well,
I don't like I know Ted Bundy, I know Charles Manson, I know Ed Gein, but those aren't like the ones that intrigue me the most, because like ones that are out of our country, those ones are crazy too. There are a lot of ones that are like more crazy than the ones we know here. Scared the cat again. So Sarah wanted us to talk about Eileen Wuornos.
Who?
Hold please. I have to open my page.
Well, what was the name?
Eileen, Aileen.
All right, let's take a look at it.
WUO for Wuornos. So I'm not really sure. So her nickname, because she had one, was Damsel of Death. So let's see what she did.
There's a movie about her.
Yes, there is. Sarah said the movie's good.
Oh, she's on. Yeah, the page I just had, she's on there.
Sarah said, "Are you serious, Jim? Wasn't she the first woman serial killer?" Basically, Mom.
Why so serious? What am I serious about, Sarah?
Da-na-na-na. So she confessed to 7 murders, and was America's first female serial killer. Very good, Mom.
Yep.
Let's see. She was in the sense that she was the first female ever to fit the FBI profile.
Yeah, she was the one that tried to say all these people raped her. And...
Yeah, and make herself the victim.
Yes.
As if she did this out of self-defense, which was one of her big pleas. This was self-defense.
That's right.
Jim
And the movie
said,
Monster with Charlize Theron is about her.
Yep, and Sarah said that you didn't know who she was.
I did too. not.
Yeah.
Well, now that I know about once I remembered the movie Monster and all of that, yeah.
So in 1976, she was picked up while hitchhiking by a millionaire 50 years her senior. Why did I put things like that? 50 years older than her. And they married soon afterwards. When her husband refused to give her money to fund her wild nights on the town, she beat him up. That's my kind of girl. She ain't take nothing. He successfully filed for divorce. Successfully, because his fingers weren't too broken. Thus, at the age of 20, Eileen went back on the road, a drunk, a drifter, a petty thief, a fraudster. She ended up in Florida, where she had a long-standing lesbian relationship with a woman named Tyria Moore, surviving on the proceeds of Werno's prostitution. Whoa. She did not embark on her brief killing spree until November of 1989, when she packed... Naomi just texted me and said, I can't watch the whole show today. Will it be available later? Of course.
The first person she killed was Richard Malloy, who was an electronics store owner.
I was just going to say he's a store owner. Yep. Near Daytona Beach.
And all the ones, I mean, she didn't go after any young people. They were all pretty much...
old.
David Spears was number 2, 43 years old. Construction worker in Winter Garden.
Yep.
Charles Carskadden, 40, part-time rodeo worker.
Yep.
Peter Seams, 65, retired merchant seaman. Troy Burris, age 50, sausage salesman from Ocala. Charles Dick Humphreys, 56, retired U.S. Air Force major, former state child abuse investigator. And then her last one was Walter Antonio, 62, a trucker, security guard, and police reservist.
So her counsel described her as the most disturbed individual she's ever represented, and Eileen said to the Florida Supreme Court, I am the one who seriously hates human life and would kill again. And, however, Mom would like this, during her 10 years on death row, she became a born-again Christian.
They all do.
Wow.
And...
how crazy.
Her appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court was denied in 1996.
Sarah said, crazy lesbians. Accurate.
And...
I'm dating one.
When was it? In 2002? She was finally given the lethal injection.
Thank God. Goodbye. I kind of wish the electric chair was still going. That'd be pretty cool to watch.
Walking a mile.
I'm just going to open the book.
That was a good movie.
And pick somebody.
You're just going to open the book and pick somebody.
Yeah, let's see if...
Drum roll.
Boom. Dr. Harold Shipman.
Dr. Harold Shipman.
Google him.
Google Dr. Harold Shipman. Paging Dr. Shipman. Paging Dr. Shipman.
I know, the fact that it got doctor in front of it, I'm a little amazed. Ooh, he murdered more than 250 people between 1975 and 2000. All of them trusting patients of the Greater Manchester GP. Oh, I know who this is. He was a doctor who killed people by administering lethal dosage of diamorphine.
Oh, was this the one they called Dr. Death?
Dr. Death, I think so. Or the Angel of Death.
The Angel of Death.
I don't see, it doesn't say in here his alias, but I'm almost positive that's who he was the Angel of Death, because it wasn't, if I'm correct, this is the one who wasn't, I mean, he was a killer, but he was helping them, I guess. Oh no, it says the majority of his patients were not even ill. So I think it's somebody else we're thinking about.
They've identified 218 victims and estimate his total count at 250.
So I think the Angel of Death was a nurse. I'm almost positive it was a female.
Ouch.
Wasn't he the one in American Horror Story?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Angel of Death serial killer. I have to look up because I'm pulling up movies here. Yeah, it was a nurse.
He was the only British doctor to have ever been found guilty of murdering his patients. Although other doctors have been acquitted, he was the only one that was convicted. And he took the coward's way out. He hung himself in his cell.
Yep, he did. So Donald Harvey is the American serial killer who claimed to have murdered 87 people. He started out killing to ease the pain of patients. So this is the one who his patients were sick and they were on their deathbed, and he just injected them with more. Oh, no. Sam said you're talking about Kevorkian. He was on.
Oh, Dr. Kevorkian. Well, that's kind of along the same lines of what you're talking about.
Yep, this is kind of the same thing. Dr. Kevorkian, though, was on American Horror Story, I think.
Mm-hmm. And there was Joseph Mengele.
Yes. So this guy, he did not limit his victims to helpless hospital patients. He would do it in his van, I think. There's a van where he would... There was just a show. Mom, what's that show that we watch? Ghost Adventures. Where they went and investigated this van where the Angel of Death would call his victims and help them in this like little... It almost looked like a VW van. Mm-hmm. It might have been. And that's where he just died on March 30th, 2017. His murder is not known. He was found in his cell severely beaten.
So yeah, Joseph Mengele was the Angel of Death.
Donald Harvey was.
No.
That's what all I Googled.
Well, then they're both the Angel of Death, but Mengele earned the nickname Angel of Death when he was at Auschwitz, Poland.
Oh, maybe is that out of the American border? Is that somewhere else like that, like in a different country?
Yeah,
because this is the American
Auschwitz,
Angel of Death.
The concentration camp.
Okay, because he was in Ohio and he became the Angel of Death because of what he did for dying patients.
You know, I just gotta say, it's kind of ironic when people who supposedly run other radio stations or whatever and come on and leave sarcastic emojis.
Who? Where?
Yeah, I'm not gonna mention any names, but it's just pretty freaking...
If you don't have haters, you're not doing something right. Just
Correct.
I guess so.
Also,
hater.
Side note, do we run the state of Connecticut page? I would hope not. I would hope that's not us.
No.
Well, I just got a notification that they shared the state of Connecticut shared our serial killer podcast.
Yeah, they shared our show from last week too.
How
thank
awesome.
You guys very
I know,
much.
thank you. Because I know I got all the notifications when Keith went on and shared from your page from the top 40.
Maybe the governor's watching.
Hi, Governor. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Thanks for tuning in. Hi, Auntie Rachel. Oh, speaking of Auntie Rachel, so my aunt and uncle own a restaurant. It's called Giorgio's. If you guys are local to us, it is in Quaker Hill, Connecticut, and they have the best food. I grew up on their food because they used to work for my Uncle George's parents at a restaurant called Eli's. They took over Eli's and eventually opened up their own business called Giorgio's, and I'm actually, starting in the middle of July, going to be waitressing there every Friday from 4:30 to 8:30.
And that is on Old Colchester? No, not Old Colchester Road.
Old Norwich Road.
Old Norwich Road.
Yep.
We go by it every day.
We do every time we come here. Every Tuesday. So if you guys are looking for some really good, I call it comfort food, just because I know him. It's family food that's cooking. If you guys are looking for really some good food, go on down to Giorgio's and let them know that we sent you and tell them that we said hi. And
I may have to stop by there on the way home and get something to eat.
And Sarah said, "Oh my God, so good," because I took her there when she was up here. And Sam grew up in Taffville with me, so she remembers Eli's, and she's right. It was very good. That was my comfort food. I'd go down all the time. My uncle, when he cooked the pizzas, they would always come out with little divots, and I would always ask if they were fingerprints. So now even at 25, even when I go in there, I ask them to make sure to put fingerprints in my pizza. Just a joke. They don't really put fingerprints, but that's like my thing with him. And it's a family restaurant. You go in there, it's small, it's cozy, it's comfy. They've got family pictures hanging up on the wall of their kids, of their best friends, family. It's just a really good restaurant. So if you guys are local, like I said, just go on and check it out. It's really good. I go there maybe 2 to 3 times a week.
I'll tell you what, it really smells good when we go by there. So yes. I may have to stop by on the way home.
It's very, very good. It's my mom says it's at the bottom of Old Colchester Road on Norwich Road. So when you hit the bottom of Old Colchester Road, it's literally right across from you. You can't miss it. And Fridays are their fish days. So they have fish and chips. They have, I believe last Friday they had lobster rolls. It's really good. I would encourage. Let's see who else we can find here.
All right, I got a little bit of breaking news here.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love breaking news. H.H. Holmes.
If you live in the area, hold on, pop up. I don't want to pop up.
Is it a crash?
Police are investigating an attempted abduction that took place yesterday afternoon in Groton. The incident occurred at approximately 3:07 p.m. when a female was walking alone in the area of Shore Avenue and South Prospect Street. According to the police, the female reported that a man who was hidden in some bushes had grabbed her and tried to force her inside his vehicle, which was waiting alongside the road with the doors open. The female was able to fight back, suffered minor injuries to her hands. No weapons were displayed or implied. Victim is described as a man in his early 20s with an athletic build around 5'6" to 5'9". The female also said the suspect was wearing a white cotton t-shirt and blue jeans.
Hi, Daryl. Hi, Nate. I like to say hi to people who are watching because it encourages them to watch more. And it kind of feels good to have your name shouted out on the radio.
Police stress the citizen cooperation is critical to a successful community partnership. Anybody that has information on this case is asked to call the department's dispatch at 860-445-2451. Again, that's Groton Dispatch, 860-445-2451.
Mom, if I'm getting you a white pizza, it's going to be a small, just so you know.
Why is it got to be a small?
Because I don't know.
Who's clicking?
Me.
Oh.
Keith, I will come over there and fight you.
Gene and I click.
Give her the spinner widget thing.
No, I don't want that. That doesn't make noise.
I don't even have it.
I put it down.
The spinner widget thing, huh?
It's called a fidget spinner. A spinner widget thing. Okay, so I found another serial killer. Not really, actually. It's in that book, Mysteries of the Criminal Mind, that doesn't really have serial killers, but it does. Keith. Come at me. So homemade prisons. I guess these were dungeons built by some kidnappers. They can resemble torture chambers from another era. And I was looking at them, and some of them did tiny bathrooms and good job. But some of them were some of them look really nice. They matched in color. And John Jamleski's first victim was only 14 years old. The 54-year-old handyman. I just had to. The 52-year-old handyman lured the girl. I just flipped Keith off, then he was very confused. The 52-year-old handyman lured the girl into his car and made her his captive. First in well near his mother's house, and then in a dank, windowless underground bunker he built at his garbage-strewn Syracuse, New York home. Over the next 2 years, he repeatedly raped his young prisoner until he finally set her free. So he never killed her, and it continued with 5 other... What do you got over there, Keith? Huh? I'll call 911. Fight me. It was a pattern he would repeat with 5 girls, wow, I'm blind, and a woman from 1988 to 2003, when he was captured by law enforcement. But such a scenario where a captor holds a prisoner almost in plain sight is exceedingly rare, with fewer than 100 cases each year, according to CNN. But when cases come to light, they are stuff out of nightmares. So people like this, the book was explaining that people like this don't get thrills out of killing. So they're not technically serial killers, but they still classify as a psychopath, obviously.
All right, Nate, I will answer your question.
Oh, yeah.
Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper is probably the best serial killer that's never been identified. Well, no, because Zodiac's never been identified.
Yeah, he doesn't have an identify. He doesn't have an identity.
Well, Jack the Ripper was the name given to this individual, as was the Whitechapel murderer and Leather Apron. Most of the time, he killed female prostitutes. Their throats were cut, and then they were eviscerated.
What's that mean?
It means he cut them open and removed all their internal organs.
Ew.
The way the cuts were made, it shows that the person had a very, very good knowledge of anatomical or surgical skills. So they're pretty much figuring Jack the Ripper was some kind of either doctor or mortician.
Is that where the movie Hostel comes from? No. Wasn't that person a doctor? Or knew what they were doing with surgical instruments? I've only seen it once. It was a really long time ago. Like when it first came out.
Yeah, I do believe he was a doctor. But it was... they never figured out who Jack the Ripper was. There's a rumor that Jack the Ripper, after his last kill, fled to the United States, which is a possibility. So they really don't know. But yeah, he was nicknamed Jack the Ripper because of the brutal natures of the murder. Like I said, he would cut their throats and then just disembowel them, remove their internal organs. And then nobody knows what he did with the internal organs either. They'd find the body there with no internal organs. And I don't know.
He would sew them back up?
No.
Oh, I thought you meant like he would open them up, take everything out, and then sew it back up.
Oh, no. He opened them up, took everything out, and left them like that.
Ooh. Okay, so I looked up I looked up Hostel, and it said it began as a documentary about an underground extreme thrill-seeking practice director, Eli Roth, discovered online whereby participants paid $10,000 to kill someone.
Yeah, this is true. This happens over in some shady countries over in Europe.
I guess the practice was not illegal because people volunteered to be murdered. They would volunteer to be murdered because their family was struggling, and they would get $10,000 so that somebody could kill them. Mm-hmm. And so that's why Hostel was born. It started out as a documentary, and then here we are. It also serves as an allegory for relations between America and the rest of the world immediately following 9/11. I don't know what that means, but that sounds terrifying. So Zodiac, obviously, was based after Zodiac Killer. Mm-hmm. Hey, Keith, I like your pink headphones.
Your pink headphones there.
They're red. They're red.
All right there, Buttercup.
Sarah said Amsterdam. Nate, you're very welcome.
Amsterdam, yeah. Yeah, you got to be careful over in Amsterdam. People disappear over there. They never come back. Same thing with Mexico.
Kind of like the Bermuda Triangle.
I think
Not even
I think I'd rather be in the Bermuda Triangle than some of those places.
Yeah. My goodness. This is nuts. So, and it amazes me. Every book that I have about serial killers, every book, I have like 8 or 9 of them, feature at least 2 or 3 that are not in any other book that I have. It's just amazing to me that there are that many that are around, and you could. Oh, here's a fun one. Here is something super, super fun. I don't remember his name. I don't even know if he's out of jail, so I should probably watch what I say. But my first job was in 2010 when I was pregnant with my oldest, working at Big Y as a cashier, and we had a night stock man. Well, night stock ended up moving to day, so I saw them more often. A couple of them I knew, a couple of them I didn't, but I became familiar with all of them. And one of them, a couple years ago, got arrested because I guess he murdered his roommate and hid it. And so I worked with him every day. Said hi to him, had conversations with him. I was standing next to a murderer. Not a serial killer because he didn't do it. consistently. Obviously, it was only one person only.
Mm-hmm.
But he hid it. And he was on the run, but he was working in plain sight. How scary is that? Obviously, like I said, it was only one person, but he could have easily chosen at any time to kill anybody else.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It just, you don't know. You could walk by 1,000 serial killers in the street and you'd never know it.
No, of course.
That's so scary. Hi, Heather. Hi, Kat.
You know what's
Hi,
really
Matt.
scary?
Matt, I hope you're feeling better. Me.
This
in the morning.
Came from the U.S. Geological. And this is going to scare the hell out of people. I know it already. It's kind of... It is a scary thing. All right. Something unexpected has gradually making itself known to geologists in the United States. A huge mass of molten rock is creeping upwards beneath the nation's northeastern states. The upwelling detected is like a hot air balloon, and they infer that something is rising up through the deeper parts of our planet under New England. Traces of the brooding mass only became evident through a large-scale new seismic study. Basically, you see what's going on in Hawaii, right, with the supervolcano?
Yes.
There is an idea now that there is a supervolcano brewing underneath Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire.
Fantastic.
The study challenges the established notion of how the continent in which we live behaves. It challenges the textbook concepts taught in introductory geology classes. So the massive magma buildup must be relatively recent. It will likely take millions of years for the upwelling to get where it's going, hopefully.
Sarah said I'm safe.
The next step is to try to understand how exactly it's happening. Yes, Sarah, you just got alligators in every body of water and hurricanes.
She has iguanas fighting on the street.
See?
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
Can she get video of that for us?
Sarah, can you get video for that for us? She said it's a common thing.
Oh my God!
Hi,
you know
Kimmy.
what? You know what? I want a video of the iguanas fighting.
I do too.
And I'm going to take the Star Trek fight song. You know the.
Stop it! Can you imagine them running at each other? Oh my goodness!
Hell yeah!
Sinkholes in Florida, my mother said.
Sinkholes,
yeah. Alligators, hurricanes.
Sarah said, well, time to bring the family down, Gina. I'm in. Sorry, guys. Have to do the radio show from Florida. Everything hurts and I'm still dying, everybody.
Oh, my God.
I'm trying to look up this. So, did you ever think of that thing that if you Google something, it's not on the first page and doesn't exist? That's literally how I feel right now. So I Googled Norwich man arrested for murder, and about 7,000 mugshots came up, just in case you guys are wondering.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I got more breaking news.
Oh, good. Here we go.
A hospital in Texas has exploded.
I know that person.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of scary.
I'm going to see if I can pull it up now. Apparently, this is breaking as we speak.
Oh, boy.
The whole hospital exploded.
No, just the left wing.
Wow.
Jeez. Hi, Adriana. What?
Just the left wing.
He literally said the whole hospital.
Well, it can't be a small hospital or
I don't know about the whole hospital.
what
I'm just knowing that a hospital.
a wing of a hospital is pretty significant.
Aw. Kimmy said, hey, Gina, proud of you. Thanks. I love
Waterford
her.
police released 911 call made after toddler got stuck in ductwork.
Oh.
Okay.
I shouldn't let your kid. Oh, speaking of duck.
Wank.
It's not the same thing. But I went to the beach today and only lasted like 45 minutes because I'm dying and everything hurts. And when I got there, somebody was leaving with their pet duck in a cage. Somebody brought their duck to the beach.
That's my cousin.
It was awesome. A little tiny black duck with like white. Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
Sarah just commented on the video with the link to the iguanas fighting.
Oh my God.
We're going to have to put some Star Trek fight music on that.
I know. Tune in next week for iguanas fighting in the street. That is crazy.
4 people are injured, 1 critically, in an explosion Monday afternoon in a building under construction at the rear of Coryell Memorial Healthcare System in Gatesville, Texas.
Oh, so it wasn't like a terrorist thing. It was a construction accident.
I'm guessing. Current patients from the 25-bed Gatesville Hospital were being evacuated to other facilities. I don't know why it's breaking news now, because I guess it happened yesterday.
Wow.
The building is destroyed. I mean, it's completely leveled.
That's crazy, though.
One woman says, I got hit in the head by a light fixture.
Was it a light fixture, though?
There was an electrical generator on the other side of the building, and it just blew up and scattered stuff all over the place. Wow.
I'm actually really disappointed I can't find this article. I guess this murder happened in 2012 and he hid it for so long. Ugh, this isn't me.
Why can't you find it, Gina?
I don't remember the guy's name. For 2012.
What's your favorite scary movie, Gina?
The Strangers. I thought we went over this already. I want to watch a scary movie tonight.
How about the iguanas fighting movie?
Kazam is not scary.
That was a pretty scary movie.
Did you know a lot of people, that's another Mandela effect?
What's that?
A lot of people thought the movie was called Shazam.
Well,
Sarah said she thinks it was at a Starbucks.
what was?
The iguanas wrestling.
Probably because they found out how much overpriced freaking Starbucks coffee
I went to
was.
the casino the other day with one of my friends.
They got mad because they couldn't use the bathroom.
And he
They're fighting over the bathroom.
and he wanted a dunk. We went to Dunkin' Donuts and he got a coffee, and it cost him over $5 for a coffee.
Yeah, at Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah, in the casino.
Wow.
Next.
If you want a good cup of coffee, I'm talking an absolute fantastic cup of coffee for $2. Go to Muddy Waters on Bank Street.
I heard they're really good, actually.
Oh my God, the place is absolutely beautiful inside, and the coffee is fantastic. Did I mention the atmosphere? And they have a back porch that overlooks the ocean.
Are we being sarcastic? Or are we like...
No, I'm telling you that the atmosphere in there is absolutely fantastic.
Well, we should go then.
It's gorgeous. I love going there. It's the coffee, the atmosphere, the people. The owners are real friendly. They both work there, the husband and wife.
That's awesome. See, I like mom and pop shops like that.
That's what it is. And they got this train set that runs above not directly above your head, but like 5 feet up. They have this like train that goes around in a track with a little city of New London in it. And then they got this huge, the size of the console here, a huge sailboat, a model sailboat inside the, of course it's inside, above the fireplace mantle.
Oh, my mom said I bought a coffee at Dunkin' Donuts in the casino, and it wasn't $5. Well, I don't have to tell you, Mom,
see
it was
that?
$5.
That's what I'm talking about.
$4.89 plus tax.
I think somebody's fibbing.
Everything's expensive in the casino, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to sell your right lung to walk through the door.
Isn't a pack of cigarettes like $17?
Yeah, something like that. Thank God I don't smoke.
A pack of cigarettes at the casino is about $20 now.
Holy crap.
Hey, Keith, fun fact, I found a little clippy for the sheet.
What? What's that?
I found a little clip for the sheet.
Oh. I gave you your clip back.
No, not a bobby pin.
Oh.
I found one of those little clips.
Oh,
I wanna
Barbie
play a
pin.
game.
It's on the back of your bathroom door.
Oh, is that what's stuck on my back?
No. So, in other news, a school shooting suspect belonged to a white nationalist group. That's what happened when I came up, when I Googled whatever this was. Mom said agree with Jim. Mom, I'm not bringing you your white pizza, so now who's agreeing with Jim?
I want to play a game. Gina, you're at Walmart and you buy 3 items.
Love you, Naomi.
The goal is to make the cashier as uncomfortable as possible. What do you buy? You've got 1 minute to complete this.
Oh, boy.
59, 58, 57. No, just kidding.
I'm gonna have to say lube, a chainsaw.
Does Walmart even sell chainsaws?
That's a good question.
All right, lube, chainsaw,
should we call Walmart?
You got one more. I would say rope.
I know, at that point, rope, chain. Naomi said you're awesome too, meaning you.
Oh, thanks, Naomi.
She's leaving.
We should call up Walmart and be like, do you sell rope and a chain and a chainsaw?
Because we're doing a project. And condoms. I need some condoms too. Add that to that list. And lubrication, just to make the chainsaw a little easier.
Watch it be Melissa that answers.
Oh my gosh. What one does she work at?
I want to play a game.
I think she's in customer service.
No, what?
Waterford.
My phone died. Now I can't even watch the live stream no mo.
I'm going to be hanging out with Jigsaw in a couple of weeks. That's so cool.
I'm watching messages.
Oh, good. Perfect.
You don't have a charger? Do you have a charger cable?
I want to play a game.
No, I do not. I didn't bring it today because
Oh
my
my
battery
God,
was at
totally
77%.
unprepared.
Well, I didn't think it was going to die.
Well, that's what you get for owning an iPhone.
Hey. I will take you out to the parking lot and fight you.
I can't stand iPhones. Don't make me put that iPhone in a sock and start swinging.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's all it's good for.
The fact that he went right for the sock tells me something.
Tells me something too. Interesting. I don't know who this person is. I'm denying them on Facebook. Delete. Wow, we don't have anything to talk about in Gina's corner. I have nothing. Yes, I do. Bullying.
Wow, because that's what I was going to go with.
Yeah, I know.
Did I tell you that?
Yes, you did.
Oh, I did tell you that.
That's why I said it.
All right, thanks for stealing my thunder, but go ahead, Gina's corner.
I don't want to talk about it. I said it because you want to talk about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time.
Your mom said
Gina's corner.
Tammy said, hey now.
We see that.
Hey
here,
now.
Keith.
Hey
Well,
now.
she can't see it.
This is what dreams are made
I'm just joking, by the way.
Okay,
Anyone that's
so-
Do you know what
listening.
that's from? Do you know what that's from?
No.
The Lizzie McGuire movie. All my friends would know that. Anyway, so bullying. My child was bullied this year in school. And when I brought it up to the school,
Let me guess. There's no bullying here.
nothing
happens.
They took it way too lightly. Oh, well, she was picking on the other kid too. Okay, well, he pulled her hair and pushed her down. No. If it was, then it was self-defense. She'd come home from school crying all the time. She would come up upset because she didn't want to go to school because her friends are mean to her. It finally took going through the counselor, contacting the school for it to stop. And that was, I mentioned it at the first parent-teacher conference in November, and nothing got done until May of this year. Because bullying doesn't happen. I was appalled. But next year she'll be going to a different school, so no one can kick rocks. So what's your take on bullying, Jimothy?
I was reading a story the other day about a 12-year-old girl who was bullied so bad she ended up killing herself.
12?
12.
What about the kids that get bullied that turn into the killers?
Correct.
Like mass shooters, stuff like that.
That happens.
Happens a lot.
Few years back, God, it must have been about 8 years now. My 14-year-old cousin shot and killed himself
Yikes.
after being bullied at Mauville High School.
And then they had a fight club.
Nothing was done. To this day, nothing is done.
Did they ever explain why they had that fight club?
Yeah, it was just slapping. Nobody was really hitting.
I mean, what do you want them to say?
But what was the reason for it? Like, were they betting on it? Were they just trying to get students to release tension?
No, the teacher was just a D-bag. Am I allowed to say that?
Were they betting on the students? I just...
No, they were just videotaping them, and it's like I don't know. It's Fight Club. You don't talk about it. It's the number one rule. Do you not know that? Keith, I drew you a picture.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
It's really just a doodle. Bullying has gotten way out of control. Way out of control. As far as these young kids killing themselves, you're 12. there should be. I can't say there isn't, but there should not be anything on this earth worth killing. It's just these people that raise their kids, or don't raise their kids, really, and let them do whatever they want. And
I think one of the biggest problems is friggin' social media. Because it's not bad enough that you bully these kids at school. When they get home and they get on social media, they start bullying these kids even more.
Right.
And it's at the point where it's absolutely disgusting what they do to these kids.
Yes.
The stuff they say, the stuff they do. There's no excuse for it. And there needs to be some kind of repercussions.
I agree.
Against these little bastards that are doing the bullying and their parents.
Yes.
I think they both need to be held accountable.
I absolutely agree. I think if a kid or somebody kills themselves because of something somebody else says, I think the kid and the parents should be held responsible for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my daughter today in the car asked me on the way to daycare, Mom, when do I get to have a phone? I said, you don't, not until you're in high school. And even then, if you're lucky. And she's like, well, the neighbor has a phone. Okay, the neighbor is 10. She's had one since she was 8. My daughter's 7. I don't think that, especially knowing what goes on at my child's school and how upset she gets, absolutely not. I am raising all of my children to be warriors, but I can only do so much from home when they're at school. I have learned very much over the past year not to take anything anybody says too seriously. And I just hope to have that for my kids too. Mm-hmm. Because if you let people get inside your head, it's the worst. It's the worst when somebody says something that really hurts you deep down, hurts your core. It's not a good feeling. And if somebody's continuously doing that, this bullying when I was younger was nothing like the bullying it is now.
No, and like I said, it's because of the ridiculous social media. Because it's easy to hide behind a keyboard.
Yes.
You know, the crap they would say to somebody's face, they can put it on social media.
A lot worse.
And even worse. And then they can spread it around to all their friends. And they don't really... Do you think they care if somebody kills themselves?
No.
Because of what they... No. So it's time, like I said, these little bastards need to be held accountable. And once they start getting punished the way they should be, maybe it'll stop.
Exactly. Instead of just letting them off the hook and not giving them a slap on the hand. Or it's no different, for example, for like when my daughter, it was, hey, thanks. He's got me a charge power bank.
About the noise in the background.
I don't care as long as my phone's charged.
That was me digging for a portable charger for her.
Yes, because he's the best. It's no different than when I brought the bullying to the school's attention. What did they tell me? Oh, well, she's doing it too. No, she's not. If she's acting out, it's in self-defense. My child is not like that. She is not the type of person. She is somebody who will give all of her things away before she receives anything. She's the type of person that will give everything she has away to make sure everybody else is happy. There's no way. I could never see my child. She's too nice and she's too sensitive to be a bully. But I guess it wasn't the first account that this kid has been on, and he's bullied other kids. But if that's the case, then why did it make it to my child? Why wasn't it stopped when it was first brought up, or the second time, or the third time? It just kept going, and it's quite frustrating to sit back and, as a parent, to have to watch that. But speaking of bullying and things like that along those lines, and we've been talking about serial killers and stuff, my daughter just had an award ceremony last Wednesday, and she won the Choose Love Award. And what the Choose Love program is it was a program made up by one of the parents from the Sandy Hook shooting. Mm-hmm. So her son was deemed a hero by the teacher that was in the room with him and his classmates. Because when the gunman came into the room, he yelled, "Run." The little boy yelled, "Run." And of course, being the first person to make noise, he was the first one that was shot. So he saved his classmates by yelling, "Run." And so his mom started this Choose Love program, and they came to the school and taught the kids what to do in a situation like that and to not bully. And the Choose Love format is courage, compassion, love. And me and my ex-fiance actually had an opportunity to go and sit down and listen to the mom of Jesse Lewis. That was the victim. His name was Jesse Lewis. If you guys want to know more about the program and the movement, you guys can go to Jesse Lewis. It's JESSE LEWIS, chooselove.org. You can subscribe for free. There is an enrichment program to help bring it to your kids if it's something that the school doesn't do. But Rain was in the newspaper with in the Hartford Courant in a video for doing her brave breaths, which is something that they teach them. And she was also in the newspaper with Blumenthal with a picture. What? I know, but it was for the Choose Love program, and it was because she's one of the only ones in her class that did a big impact on the rest of them, and she used those skills that she learned to impact the classroom, which I thought was fantastic. So through the whole year, she set positive goals for herself. She was maintaining positive relationships with her friends. She was making responsible decisions for it. She was understanding her emotions, and that alone lets me know that she was not the bully in the situation.
Right.
And it was the other kid. There is not a student who can influence Blumenthal, the Hartford Courant, the teachers, classmates, and be a bully at the same time. There is no way. So I'm hoping moving her to a different school, because we're going to move her from the Norwich school system to the school system that her dad lives in.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that helps not only her bullying issue, but most of them just pick on her because she's smart. She is already working at a third grade level when she was in second grade.
Yeah.
And the way the Norwich school systems is they teach at I don't want to say a dumbed down level, but they teach at a lower level platform for the kids that aren't up there yet. And they don't have extra enrichment programs for students that are smart or smarter or want to be challenged. So Rain was just kind of hindered and held back for this whole year when she really wanted. And it took me going in and sitting down with the teacher at the first parent-teacher conference saying, listen, she's having a hard time because she can't focus because she knows what you're doing. Can you give her? And the teacher was sending home packets from third grade, and Rain was doing them and sending them back and getting good marks on them. So it took me reaching out, and I'm grateful for the teacher that she was compliant with that because Rain needed it. But she felt bad because there's no program that they could have offered her to become to better her education skills. But I love the Choose Love movement. I love what Jesse's mom did for it. I love what it's made my daughter be. Courage, gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion is the Choose Love formula, and Rain recites that to me all the time. That is the Choose Love formula. And if we could spread that around to everybody, yes, it has to do with a little kid that got shot in a mass murder.
Right.
But had that kid been loved properly or taken care of properly, or, I fully believe that somebody who does something like that, they have something mentally wrong with them. But I also would believe it has something to do within the home too. But if we could teach all of the kids the way Rain sees this program, I feel like there'd be far less bullies in the school system in general. They went all over Connecticut to a whole bunch of different schools. And if it impacted anybody like it impacted Rain, then they did what they were trying to do. it's frustrating to know that my daughter's 7 and there's a 7-year-old bully who's half her size picking on her and has no remorse for what they're doing.
Until the schools finally step up and do something about it, it's never going to change.
I know, unfortunately. And that's where this kind of started, was looking for change. And so, like I said, I'm very happy the program happened, but they can't reach all over the world. That's why word of mouth is the best, which
Right.
I know we have listeners all over. I know we have people that listen from different states. So if you wanted to take a look at it, like I said, it's JessieLewisChooseLove.org. It's a free program. It's a free website. There's nothing to pay. Obviously, you can sponsor them. You can donate.
Spell out the website for them.
JessieLewis, and then after that, it's Choose Love. So CHOOSELOVE.org. So if you guys want to go and take a look at that, I'm sure that your kids will appreciate it. You'll appreciate the website. And next school year, if you can instill this in your children through the summer, the school will also appreciate it too. And don't be afraid to, whatever school your kids go to, reach out to them and send them the link as well. Because I'm sure Jessie's mom would love for it to be worldwide, nationwide. Because it's something that it's going to make a big impact if we get it out there enough.
Sarah says kids used to not let Brenna play with them because her eyes were different, because she's half Vietnamese. That is a learned behavior. You're right.
I think she has pretty eyes.
It is definitely a learned behavior.
It is.
Kids are not born bullies. They're not born racist.
No.
They learn these traits from someone.
Yep.
Usually the parents.
The only fears that you were born with is the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Everything else is learned.
Yeah.
As
absolutely.
a baby, you're terrified of being dropped. If a baby thinks they're falling, what do? They shake their arms out because that's exactly what they think's happening. If a baby's scared by a loud noise, they shake. They do the same thing with their arms. They flail because they're afraid. But every other fear is learned, just like every other trait is learned. Yes, I also think that there's malfunctions in the brain that can cause you to be a serial killer with the deluded fantasies. But other than that, I definitely think everything's learned.
Remember, most serial killers start off by killing little animals.
Yep. And most serial killers are, or so they claim to be, sexually traumatized by family members or relatives, bullied.
You know what another one was that I found interesting? Lighting fires and then peeing on it.
What? Really?
I was like, huh.
What? I found, speaking of fires, I found a tick on my dog the other day.
And you lit the dog on fire?
Yeah. Yep. I lit Bruno on fire. I said, sorry. Burn the whole dog down. No. It was like the size of a dime. That's how big it was. Oh, God. It was so gross. And I pulled it out of his ear and I put it in a big pan. Big pot, I should say, not a pan. And I lit paper towels on fire and let it burn.
You know why it was so big?
Because it had a lot of blood in it.
It had been there for a while. Exactly.
And I didn't notice it the night before. And the next...
it was there for a few days.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I was petting him the night before, and I probably ran my hands over it and didn't notice it. But oh my goodness, that thing was so gross, and I burned it. And I waited for it to burn because I didn't want to throw it in the garbage. I didn't want to have a chance to walk away, even though I don't really think I could have walked. Waddled, maybe. But yeah, it was disgusting. Lighting fires and peeing on them, that is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. My buddy Mike DeLauro wanted me to go to the white civil rights rally with him. And it's in August in Washington, D.C.
That's how you get shot, I think.
And yeah, he wanted me to help cover it with him. I'm like,
Next.
No. I kind of like living.
What's the dress attire for that? White sheets?
Camouflage.
I don't really think camouflage is...
Bulletproof vest.
Probably.
Yeah. So.
I thought we would have all wore our white sheets. Woo!
So, yeah, this white nationalist is going to have his rally in Washington, D.C. in August. And if you think that's going to go well, yeah, we've got another thought coming.
You guys can find me in Connecticut safely. My birthday's in August 18th.
Yeah, we just got to worry about the frickin' volcano erupting.
Oh, my goodness. No, thank you. So what are we talking about next week?
Next week, we're going to talk about Billy calling Gina at 1-800... I'm just kidding.
Is Billy listening?
I don't know.
Billy, if you're listening, marry me.
Wow.
Sarah's going to be like, excuse me? Just kidding.
Well, she can too, you know.
I know. I can be in an open relationship with two people. It's fine.
Wow.
Actually, I can't. That's like physically impossible. Plus, I kind of like the idea
Gina,
of moving.
Billy, and Sarah.
No, I don't. Sarah doesn't even like guys.
It's like Three's Company.
No, thank you. No, it's not. None of them were dating.
No, you're Chrissy.
Is she the blonde one?
Yeah. Well, there were 3 blonde ones.
No, they weren't.
There were 3, yeah.
What do you mean?
There were 3 different girls.
That played the blonde girl?
No, Chrissy left the show, and then there was another blonde girl, and she left the show, and then there was a 3rd blonde girl.
I used to watch Three's Company in the like early in the morning when I was pregnant. With that insomnia, like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd hear "Come and knock on our door," and I'm like, "Yes, it's on." Yes, we've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting for you.
Something.
Wow.
Three's
Company too.
Okay, next week on the show, you're about to catch me and Jim doing karaoke.
Yeah.
Woohoo! So this week we kind of winged it. Yesterday we decided what we were talking about. So
literally last night.
Literally, we texted each other. We were like, serial killers, perfect. Because I glanced over and saw my books. However, if there's anything that any of our listeners would like to specifically have us talk about or hear,
say that 5 times fast.
No, thank you. Feel free to message Jim or I, pop something under the comments, under the video, share on our wall, post on the United FM, whatever it may be, because we're quickly running out of ideas and we have a lifetime to go. So, what is that noise? That
sounds like friggin' Darth Vader.
Yes.
It's me. I forgot to shut off my mic. Sorry.
I bet it was a vape.
Yes, it was a vape.
Bet. Knew it. All right, so I guess we're just going to wing it for next show unless...
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Well, you know what? Let's stay tuned. I may have a guest for the next 2 shows.
Woohoo! That means make sure you all tune in because
we will let you know.
All right, guys. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, and just to let you know, if you live in the Northeast, be careful at the end of this week. Temperatures are going to be in the hundreds with high humidity, so it's going to be brutal. Stay hydrated and be careful.
Bye, guys.
Till next week, Jim and Gina. See ya.